one.
Good evening. This is the 21st of August, 2023, 6:30 p.m. A meeting of the Templeton Conservation at the 160 Patriots Road, East Templeton, Mass, in the conference room. It is now 6:30. Well, I'm going to open the meeting with a review of the minutes from the last meeting. Dave, have you gone over the last meeting? And are there any corrections, deletions?
No, I make a motion to accept the minutes.
I
Do I hear a second?
have the second. Yeah, thank you. I second it. And we're not used to only having two.
I know.
people to go.
All those in favor?
Right.
Dave,
Aye.
George?
Okay. Huh?
Do you, all those in favor?
Yes,
George?
we both are in favor. Yes.
Passes at 6:31.
And then we will pass it
Yep.
back to her or
Yep.
slide it down.
The next item on the agenda is the NOI 304-0382 continuance for Crotty Ave Pump Station for demo of existing pump station and construction of upgraded pump station within the 100-foot buffer zone of bordering vegetated wetlands and the 200 Riverfront area. This hearing was continued from the July 17th meeting. It was opened and continued to this meeting. And since then, a site walk has occurred between the applicant, its engineers, Concom, and its agent. And with us today, we have
Chuck Aaron from Karen.
And Derek Casa from White Pierce.
We're gonna come up here. And,
When would you like to?
yeah, you can do it from down there. Okay, that's-
Can you put it in front of the gray table? Otherwise, we can't see it with the camera. Thank you.
let me get this out. Beautiful.
There we go. Okay.
So I'm gonna do a quick introduction to the project. The original pump station was built back in 1977. Putting it at 46 years old, which is at the end of its service life. The town is looking to get this upgraded and brought up to speed with modern day pumps and equipment. The new station will be a prepackaged fiberglass pump station. We're going to rehab the existing wet well. And we're gonna have a new diesel generator on site. The existing pump station will be removed. And the underground old storage diesel tank will be also removed in addition to that. New fencing and new screening plantings will be included, along with the new paving under the driveway. I think that covers.
So basically, the site on Crotty Ave is pretty much surrounded by wetlands. The stackering of the plan on this side, this side part of it. The west, it's the bordering vegetated wetland.
Mhm.
There's also a perennial stream to the west, which has a riverfront area, but this type of project is actually exempt from the riverfront division. We recognize it's the plan. We also would go to the outside of the flood zone, which it's outside of it. We basically surrounded the area of proposed work with erosion control devices. Was set in the resource areas. Basically, all the work is staying within that existing fenced area. Pretty much where all the existing features are.
So people can see this, it's a fenced in area. If they're gonna be working, and so, you know exactly where they're gonna be working.
The only work that's going outside of the fenced area is the connection for the force main, which is gonna go a little bit outside the fence to the west, and then a water service. Basically replacing what's there now from the front of the site. And there's also a The other work that'll be outside the fence is a row of white pine in front of it that will proposing to remove. Those are actually planted there as screening to this station 40, 50, maybe 60 years ago. They've grown tall enough, lost all their lower, they're not providing any screening anymore, and they're not, some of them aren't very healthy, so closing one of those and then plant a row of 12 arborvitae's that are to provide new screening. Other thing, the fair mentioned is that the basically planning to repave that area, that section of Crotty Ave and the fence. Sure. Pretty much it.
Dave, any questions?
No.
No, I have no questions either. Is there any questions from the?
Yeah. George?
Yeah.
I just asked the applicants to explain the updates from
Oh,
the
okay,
site walk
so there are
that
some
we
updates.
did to the updated plans.
Yeah, we did submit revised plans since.
Yep.
Oh, that's all.
Resolution. The main updates were, I think there were a couple of notes that made use.
Mhm.
But the primary things are that one of those pines on the demolition plan, all those pines which was being removed, but for some reason. But you should show that one as well. And.
Elevation.
Yeah, the elevation of,
It was the elevation of the new proposed pump station. We had it at the flood protective elevation. But the existing elevation of the wet well currently is a few inches higher than that. And we're gonna replace the top of the wet well, so there's a minimum thickness to that top slab, and we're just gonna match that. So we just came up a few inches.
yeah, and like, it looks like there was a detail added for flood.
Oh, also inside the pump station, there's gonna be a floor drain with a trap primer for any water spillage that occurs in the station, cleaning up pumps or whatever. That will flow back into the wet well.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope, I'm good. That was my question.
Okay.
You want to see if any audience has any? Do you want to see if any audience members have input? on it?
Yeah, sorry. Anybody in the audience want to look at this, see it? No, nobody? Okay. So, can I make a motion, have a motion to, accept the NOI?
I'll make a motion to accept the NOI for this
Alright.
project.
And I will also,
You second that?
second it, NOI, thank you.
You're welcome. And roll call vote, all those in favor, David,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
motion passes.
Okay.
6:38. So I'll be in touch with you both regarding the order of conditions and let you know when those are ready.
Perfect. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. All to the camera. Oh, I missed that, that's right.
did great.
Okay. This is done. yeah?
Yep. You just got to sign that.
Okay. What's today? Today's the, 21st?
Today's the 21st.
21st, yeah. I always think. Okay. With that, the meeting is,
Yep.
closed at 6:40 p.m.
Okay. Next on the agenda is NOI 304-0384 for Whitney Street for the replacement of 2 culvert pipes within inland resource areas of a bank and land under water bodies and waterways. To open the hearing, I will read the legal notice. Whitney Street Culvert Replacement Notice of Intent. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, that a public hearing will be held on a notice of intent filed by Paul Grozowitz of Groz Engineering LLC on behalf of the Templeton DPW. Project location is between 2 and 4 Whitney Street, Templeton, Mass. Description of project is the replacement of 2 corrugated metal culvert pipes with reinforced concrete pipes of equal size underneath Whitney Street. The proposed alteration is set to impact inland resource areas within a bank and land under water bodies and waterways. The hearing will be held on August 21st, 2023 at 6:30 PM at Templeton Town Hall. Any person wishing to be heard concerning the above application should appear at the time and place indicated above. The notice of intent is available for public review at the Development Services Office, Room 3, 160 Patriots Road during regular office hours. The NOI is also available upon request from Jay Case at templetonma.gov, George Andrews, Chair. And with us this evening, we have DPW Director Bob Sozek, and we have Paul Groswood. Yes, if you guys want to come up, that would be great.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Item 41. Yeah, certified mail notice.
Oh, I will take those. Thank you. Yes.
Can I ask you for those?
And I've got a narrative. And I've also got a plan, and there's been these discussions with Mass DOT, and I've got 2 plans. I'll
Yep,
just-
you can.
Oh, is this different from this one?
It's a little bit different. There's more note,
Okay. And we'll run it down here.
Thank you so much. Beautiful.
I'll read my narrative right here.
Perfect.
Whitney Street culvert replacement. The project consists of replacement of 2 dilapidated 40-inch metal rope culverts with 2 48-inch reinforced concrete pipes. Mass DOT has reported the existing situation is unacceptable, so the town of Templeton wishes to repair/replace the culverts. The culverts are to be replaced at the same location and elevation during low water conditions. Water on both sides of the road is ponded without any stream banks or channels and without any visible flow. Jersey barriers and silk curtain and wattles are to be utilized for control of sediment and turbulence. If any dewatering is used, it will be pumped away from the resource area. There are no stream banks and channels, etc. Therefore, stream crossing dimensional standards for openness and full bank width cannot be applied to this. Some open area will be provided with the new culverts, however, which will fluctuate with the seasonal pond levels. And it's going to be, that aspect will be very similar to what's there now. The groundwater and surface water quality will not be affected by the culvert replacement, and the wildlife function on the banks will not be diminished. So basically, things are happening in the same place. The road's not being widened. It's just a matter of getting the substandard culverts out of there and getting something in here that can handle an H20 loading. We've got enough, there'll be just enough cover over these, pipes to provide that. And that's it, basically. They're gonna be, as they are now, they're gonna be, more than roughly half submerged most of the time.
Just so you people can see, this is a picture of Whitney Street in Gardner, in East Templeton. And thing is, you gotta go through Gardner to get to it. So this is why we gotta replace the culvert. And well, like you said, both sides of broken apart, and it needs to be replaced. So we do have the plans for here. We went down to the sidewalk on it last week. and talked to both Bob and the other person who was going to be helping him replace the culverts. And like they said, they're gonna go down to the same depth they were, and they're going to do, I believe it's rock on the bottom. Underneath, and then they're gonna put gravel in it or and around the pipes, keep them at the same level that they're at right now. If there's any questions, Dave, you got any other questions?
Those pipes, so they're gonna be about 2 feet apart
2 feet apart, yeah,
and.
side by side, 2 feet apart.
So,
And even though there's couple of houses and a business down below it, they've already made their commitment of what they're going to do with these people that are living down there. And they're hoping it'll only take one day to get this done. Okay, just so you people know. Okay, do you have any questions? No?
No questions on this project.
I do. Are the updated plans, because they're showing the Jersey barriers now, but the original one didn't?
Yes,
Yeah. They have.
they also reference, Mass DOT wanted the small bridge reference numbers in the title block. This will actually remove it from that program, so.
Right,
This installation.
just setting the pipes 2 feet apart,
Mhm.
pulls us out of that program. The reason I chose this option, again, because it's a dead end street. If there was another access to the other side, we could have gone with a more detailed project and more money, but
So have you got a date planned yet? No?
depends on how much help I have. I'm losing hope faster than I can keep it.
And it doesn't help, I know that.
I'll be four
Nothing
guys
yet.
short here shortly.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you speak to all the things that Mass DEP referenced? I think you spoke to the dewatering and you spoke to doing it at low
Right.
elevation.
And
Did you
that's-
speak to the stream crossing standards met to
Yeah,
maximum extent
basically,
practical?
in my narrative here, there's.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what's holding water up in that area, but, you know,
Hmm,
yeah, there is a stream. Or there was a stream approaching, and if there is a stream on the other side, but it's ponded all the time. It's 2 ponds. You can't,
I am gonna reach out to the gardener's director and see if there's any way he can relieve anything. I don't know what this side
it's
is.
been like that for a long time.
Mhm.
And there's no channel. Like I
Mhm.
said, maybe 3 or 4 feet down. There probably is an
Mm.
old channel down there, but it's just been ponded on both sides, and the water probably goes both ways depending on how the,
And the water goes what, all the way over West Broadway?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be coming from Hubbardston, but I think
Mhm.
depending on how
Oh,
mhm.
the flow into those ponds is going, it could go either way, I think.
If approved, would you send a notification to the residents of the day the activity would be done so that they are aware?
Yeah,
Or
we
would you-
definitely wanna.
You could coordinate with me and we could do that.
Set a date. We are gonna mail letters and we're gonna do a code red. We're gonna have a signboard down there. There'll be plenty of notice.
You want to open it up to the public?
okay, anybody have any questions? Yeah, your name and,
Julie Richard Orchard. I'm curious if we have an estimated amount that this project's gonna cost.
Yes, the materials, I came to the finance board and asked for 20,000 on an emergency funding, which will cover all the materials and the engineer. The rest of the pavement and stone will be coming out of my regular operating budget.
Thank you.
anybody else? Okay. Yeah, there's nothing. Okay,
No questions. I'll make a motion to accept the NOA for this project.
I'll second the motion.
Hearing a motion is made and seconded. Any discussion?
Nope.
I will take a roll call vote.
Okay,
Dave,
Aye.
George,
aye.
motion passes at 6:49.
Now been passed. Oh, passed. Okay,
Very
so
good. Thank you both. I will work on the orders of conditions and reach out to you both. Thank you.
yes.
Yep.
I'm gonna put NEW on the one that has the.
Yep, I
Yeah.
like that idea.
Yeah, it's got a, there's a red note down the bottom.
Oh,
Okay.
Yep. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Go.
Gotta hold my apple right there. Let's see, signature. And, yeah, and they call that map.
You can sign it. Thank you kindly. Let me get you the request.
That will end at 7:50 p.m. Okay.
Next item on the agenda is a COC request for 75 Lord Road for a single-family home, NOI number 3040381. The applicants are requesting a complete certification.
Okay, yeah, I went over myself after he
Yep.
sent those pictures. and
Yep.
traveled it, if there's no problem. and,
The grass is growing in on the front and the back.
they're both done. Everything's all set.
And the boulders were at the
Okay, good.
wetland delineation line. There were 13 of them.
Hmm?
The boulders were at the wetland delineation
what
line.
they
There
want,
were
right here.
13 of them, which
Okay,
was good.
I will make a motion to accept the CLC.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Hearing a motion in a second. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Dave, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Motion carries at 6:52. Here you go.
Thank
you.
All right, back. Okay,
Thank you.
I'll close the COC. And we'll move on to the next one.
Next item on the agenda is agent updates. My only updates for you is I received communication from our circuit writer in Worcester about wetland signs that other communities use.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
provided all of those that other towns use, essentially on site walks. We could put them at the wetland line to delineate them for residences or businesses or anybody else so that there would be no confusion. I don't know if you guys think they're useful or not, but I thought it was
well,
cool enough to bring up to you.
I
You know, we could,
they do have some of these on Dudley Road from the state
yeah.
on theirs, and I don't know.
Have you ever used anything like that in the
No,
past? You've been on the board for
As
a
far
while.
as I know, we have never used anything
No.
like this. And thing is, I don't see why we couldn't use it if we decided.
I mean, they can be as small or as big as you would want them to be, you know, laminated like on a stake and you stick it in, you know? So will you guys marinate on that and reach out to me?
We will,
Yeah,
we'll marinate on that.
Yeah.
And see what the select board, if they would agree or how. If they think we should be doing
well,
it.
the finances from it would come out of your wetlands
Right.
account,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
because it's for protecting wetlands.
Yeah.
So it's just up to you guys, so.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if the select board or the town will have to vote to okay the whole thing. To put it on that, we'll have to find that out first. And then we can go from there.
Very good,
Yeah.
Dave. Very good.
Okay, anything from the town?
No, that's agent. That's agent updates.
Julie? No,
That's Asian updates.
I would certainly support it on 1 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Oh, I know that. I'm just-
Thank you for bringing it forward.
Oh,
I think it's a great idea.
okay, check. Okay,
Next is chair member comments and continuation discussions from last meeting. We have the CPC Conservation Fund use discussion continued from last meeting. This was that there is $8,000 remaining in the Community Preservation Fund for conservation. And last meeting, two ideas that were brought in front of you were an assessment of the Otter River Pool and or potentially investment in the next open space plan. We do have Miss Joanne Burden here. If you have any questions regarding the assessment of the Otter River Pool, she could speak to what the funds would be used for that. Yeah, if you want to come up.
why don't you? If anybody wants to become a member of our board, we're looking for help. As you can see, there's 55 of us, the two of us are here.
Just to bring you up to speed a little bit. I've been working on this project for many, many years. And started to work on it again, and we put in an application to ecological restoration. For the funding for the removal of the dam and the spillway, which I'm sure if you guys have looked at it, it's very, very bad condition. It's actually very dangerous. For people to even go over in that area, they could really get hurt badly. But anyway, so we've moved forward with putting in an application for the fund. But what I was told by ecological restoration is the property owners usually pay for the assessment to be done for the removal and restoration. So the stream would be restored back to its natural state. It's already conservation land, so I wouldn't think there would be too many obligations to that restoration grant. Probably the biggest one would be to, never put in another dam structure or spillway, to leave it in its natural state, not to impound the water again. Because it's already conservation land, and you cannot restrict public access to conservation land. So if you look at it, it's a dangerous place. It is care and custody of you guys. And I think, the best solution is to restore it back and remove the, the structure that's deteriorated significantly. I've also talked to the Mills River Watershed Council. We would have their support as far as this project goes, if we're approved for it. So I just kind of wanted to bring you up to speed. You have read this management plan done by Amanda. Crowe.
Yep.
This is an excellent plan. This was sent in with the application.
Yep.
Many of the questions that they ask on the application were already answered in the management plan done by Amanda.
Yep.
So, but I mean, it's care and custody. You guys need to know what's going on.
Right.
With this. And so, I mean, I'm sure you guys were in agreement with the management plan done by Amanda, correct?
Yeah, they saw that. You guys saw that at the past two meetings that I handed to you, right?
Right? You don't have any problems or additions that you'd want to put in this management plan? No? Good with it?
Okay. All right, I was approached by someone who said they were taking Boy Scouts out there to clean the place up.
Okay, I have taught to the Boy Scout leader. They have been taking trips all summer.
Mhm.
I haven't been able to get out there with him. So my hope is that they would be like stewards for the place, because that's a big part of the problem. Nobody's keeping an eye on it.
And that's the problem.
It is.
And
And it would be a great place for the Boy Scouts, because they could do many things out there. It's beautiful. They could go fishing, they could have fishing events. And probably 2.5 years ago, that particular stream was designated as cold water fishery. So I'm hoping that maybe will help to bring the project forward, having that significance. There has been a little bit of talk about bringing it back to, a pool type situation. And there is no funding for that. The state is a big proponent in removing these structures and restoring. Usually, if they're used for flood control, power, something like that, then there may be funding for it. Otherwise, no, they want to see them removed. So hence why they, have the restoration projects out there. So
I think
your thoughts?
if I may, one of the questions that the board brought up at last meeting was an estimate of what an assessment would cost. So out of the 8,000 left, did you have any idea, an
Well-
estimate what an assessment would cost?
Right.
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 That's kind of why I cornered the engineer out there in the hallway. So I'm looking into from the watershed, the Mills River Watershed Council. It's gonna be providing me, because we've been a part of these projects in the past, several of them. So he's supposed to be Ivan, is supposed to be providing me some names of different companies that will go out and, they'll give you a price. And I think what they do is, it's an overall look at what it's gonna entail, especially for like the permitting process, et cetera. When I talked about ecological restoration, she's like, usually runs around 4,000 or 5,000. But that was a year and a half ago. And I haven't touched base with her since. If we were to get that done, which it would behoove us to do that
Yeah.
and send that in, because we've sent in the application, we can go, okay, well, we had the assessment done. Might also help for us
Does
to
it
get the
look-
funding.
Does it look more favorably when asking for funding?
Oh,
that the
absolutely. That,
town would
that
invest
The
as well?
town is taking on, it's town
Ownership.
land.
Understood.
Some of the responsibilities. So we're looking into a couple of things. The conservation fund, I'm not sure that it's an allowable use out of the conservation fund. That's something that we have to look into.
Yep.
Also community preservation funds. As well, we have some administrative funds that may be used towards it, or we can also ask at town meeting for funds for that.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah, from what I understood from this person from the voice, they're talking about they want to put swing, all this stuff back out there. It was destroyed years ago when it was left alone out there. And we ended up tearing everything out.
Well, I think,
Tennis court and all that there. And that's another thing we gotta look into.
right.
How much are we gonna put into it and how much,
Well, under the Community Preservation Act, the open space and recreation monies can be used for those types of things. This is always gonna be a recreation area.
oh yeah,
It may be passive in perpetuity. There's no changing what it is. And it's pretty much the town deciding, do you want to put some picnic tables in there so people can go out fishing, picnicking, keep it very, very simple? Or,
Okay.
I didn't hear anything about swing sets or anything like that.
oh yeah.
More like, picnic table type things. But the
Like I
Boy
said, I
Scouts
only
could
heard
have-
about this.
Yeah, the Boy Scouts could easily have,
it's-
projects, some projects down there and things like that. And if they're, willing to be a steward and keep an eye on the, place, I mean, that's huge. It'd be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I said, we continue working on it and see what we can do.
okay,
Yeah.
that sounds.
I would-
good. If you guys have any questions, just give me a shout and, okay, I'm gonna continue.
I would say if you are able to provide a quote, that would be most helpful so that you knew out of the 8,000, what you could potentially be approving.
Right,
That's-
and
I think-
and that's what I'm in the
Yes.
process right now is looking.
That's
into
great.
The, engineers, companies
Yep.
that do this type of.
And this
thing.
is a good step so everybody's on the same page
Right.
of what you're looking
Right,
for and
absolutely.
the funds
I
you're
mean, the
already going for.
conservation
We're not
Yeah.
against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's a,
And,
it's
you know, if you
it's a shame it's been let go this long.
I agree, absolutely agree. So if you guys don't mind me kind of taking the lead on this for you, giving you a hand with it. you know, and if you have any questions anytime, just give me a shout.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you,
All right.
Joanne.
Thank you, Joanne.
Okay, now.
Good.
You want to go to
Next-
46
Yeah,
Shore Drive?
next discussion is on 46 Shore Drive. Discussion continued from last meeting. Site walk occurred on August 8th by myself, the agent. I reported back to the commission members that the shed doesn't meet boundary setbacks. It's only 7 feet from the boundary line. The shed does not meet buffer zone requirements. It's 7 feet from cattails. The shed is only sitting on concrete blocks. The land is saturated from rain, but also could be contributed from the nearby shoreline. Regarding the addition of rocks at the shoreline, those were installed for pond access and to act as riprap. But I provided you both with aerial wetland maps that indicated that the shoreline was changed by 2019. So I have all that for you guys. And I believe the residents are here if you have any questions for them. Kate and Christopher are here.
Remember when we were there, that had to be taken away from there, but then went and put it right back where we said it shouldn't be going.
Yep.
And the construction company was there with them. You remember that? Yeah. Yeah. And in order to put these rocks out here. They never told us they wanted to put any out there, said anything about that, but because the neighbor had done it. They mentioned it, but we gave them no answer on it. If you'd like to come up and talk.
Sure.
Please announce who you are, please.
Good evening, Chris Dodge, 46 Shore Drive.
And Kate Dodge, 46 Shore Drive.
Well, as you can see. We did mention to you that the shed did not belong where you were putting it. We told you, we took you across the yard and showed you where 50 feet away from the wetland was. But you apparently decided to leave the shed there after we left. We were only invested, we didn't go down and do a sidewalk down at your place. We only came down because people in the neighborhood had complained to cut trees headed out to the shoreline. That was our main reason for going out there that day. And we all talked, but we never said anything at all about putting any rock down in here and not moving the shed. So we walked over and we measured out for you at 50 feet and you put it, still left it here. So I don't know, this is where we stand, and the building inspector said, no, you're already off where you should be putting it anyway.
So in regards to the rocks on the shoreline, it's the riprap.
Yeah,
Those have been there since 2018. When you came out to do the certificate of compliance, those were there as is today.
somewhere, but not all the way down to the water.
They're exactly how they were then.
Or you've added to them.
No, we haven't.
I have not. Did you see me stone down by the road?
Mm.
I didn't see anything. All I saw was a small driveway and I saw some by the driveway. That's all I saw.
So the order of conditions was for the construction of the house, and you issued a certificate of compliance for the house. The order of conditions didn't specifically or implicitly state access or shoreline changes.
Yeah, that was
Um,
a long time ago.
Well, in the original order of conditions that was placed on the people that had the land before us, there was something put in there for a perpetual condition. There was allowed a 25-foot wide access strip from the house to the water. And it said sand was able to be put in that access strip, but not in the pond. So upon my review of sand and what it does to the environment, because Chris and I take our, living on the water very seriously and being stewards of the environment, it said that sand was like very bad for the environment. So we looked into other options. So riprap was one of the things, because our house is on the low end of the pond. That's why we had to build our septic and have the hill in front of our house. So the riprap was meant to be erosion control for the pond. Since there are motorboats and things that go around the pond and create waves, we put that there as like a precaution to make sure that the shoreland didn't come any closer to our house and it stayed put. We didn't know, we were under the impression that that was not a good thing to do. We thought that was actually a good thing for the environment to do. But if that's not the case, we understand.
The thing is, you never approached anybody to do this. You did it on your own. Okay. Everybody else down there that we did, including, I don't know who the owner was that you got it from, but even the ex-health department person lived down there, and he actually came to the Concom board and got permission to do the riprap stuff down by his house. And I don't know if he still lives there now, but,
I'm not aware of that.
but
When we moved in, we looked to the houses on either side of us. And so one house to the left has rocks down by and in the pond. Our intent was to put it right up to the shoreline, not into the pond. So if it needs to be taken back a little bit, that's okay. And there is some vegetation growing in the rocks as well to show that's where the shoreline is. And if you wanted us to go forward with letting that grow back a little more, we're okay with that as well. Again, we care very much about living on the water. I'm out there in my kayak all the time, just this past few days, taking trash, taking all kinds of garbage out of the trash. So we are, we're not trying to do anything to take away from the waterfront.
And just for context, you had come out last year to walk the property, and because of the confines of our property, you had walked with the association who had lodged the complaint, and we had made an agreement at that time that that's where the shed would go, because because we have a non-conforming property, and we were really constricted by that. Unfortunately, because of other incidences, this complaint is being lodged against us again because of a neighborly dispute. So
About the dumpster.
about
They're
the
mad at us
dumpster.
because
So-
we had them move the dumpster.
So
that
we
was
have-
something between you people and the association.
correct.
Should have been taken care of between you two people.
And it was,
And so we have permission to put our shed where it was. We moved it a few feet. The president of the Pinewood Shores Association.
So the
came out-
association said you could put it there,
Yes,
even though it's not the 15 feet from the line.
it's
like
45 feet from, so when you came out to do the site or the unofficial site walk, you said that the only wetlands on our property was the pond.
No.
which is, the shed is 45
Because
from
we
the
walked
pond.
by where the shed was, and we said you couldn't put the shed where you trip those trees down and laid the trees down. There was wetland right there, and that's what we said to you.
So if I may interject, even if the commission this evening so decides to take no action on the shed, even if they take no action on the shed tonight, upon the site walk, the building commissioner was with me, and the shed didn't meet the side setbacks, which are 15 feet, and it was only 7. So even if they tell you not to move the shed, the building commissioner is gonna.
Well, we'll
have
apply
you-
for a variance.
Have you, yeah, right,
Yeah.
either,
Right.
either have you move the shed, or
Right.
you would go to the
Yes, of
ZBA,
course.
CBA for the variance.
Yes.
So I just wanted to, so everybody's on the same page,
Yeah.
even,
That's
even if they're okay with it.
Yeah.
The shed will have
Right.
to
But
to
it
be moved
also-
unless you request the variance
The
anyway.
house on our left and the house on our right, the ones that lodged the complaint, they have a shed behind their garage that is closer to the wetlands and the water than it should be. So I'd like you to investigate the houses on either side of us who have put sheds in since ours was up in similar spots. So we're not trying to do anything that's out of the ordinary for the neighborhood or what we're seeing all the way around the pond. When we first had the first complaint last year, as we were building the shed, I took my kayak around the pond and I counted 27 sheds or structures that were closer to the water, the pond, than our shed
Mhm.
was. And our shed is 45 feet away from the pond, which is the same distance that our deck was when you came and gave us permission. So we put it in the best place we could, given the confines of
Well,
our lot.
That you have to talk to the building inspector about because
Sure.
we have nothing to do with sightline.
Sure.
We have nothing to do with that. Okay, we only have from the pond. Not from.
Right.
And I thought that when you came out the first time, you said you had no problem with us putting the shed there if we went for a variance and the commission. said
No,
it
I
was
didn't.
okay.
I wasn't there at that time. I don't know who else came down.
No,
but-
it was due to. And we measured all around the yard, we did.
Some measuring.
We did measurement.
We
and
said-
And Dave said we should make it so it kind of, the shed connects to our house, because that was the only place it was gonna fit over there, which we didn't want to do. Or right in the front of our house in the front yard, which was another place where our well is right there. We have a structure of swing set for our kids. So again, this may be a variance issue that instead of.
Like we said, the association. If they gave you permission, that's what you gotta prove, that they gave you permission.
It was the
to leave
president
shed
that did.
there. They weren't there when we were there. The only
But
person.
again, you're not meeting with the whole,
The only,
you're meeting with one person that has a complaint, which is our neighbor.
the only person that was there was the person from the construction company. That was building the garage, the shed. That's the only person who was there when we were there. There was only one other person between.
But you came another time then. You said there was someone that doesn't live here, but drives around here that made the complaint.
I said somebody had complained, they on their way out, walking out to the. Somebody had been cutting trees close to the that thing. Legally, it's 200 feet from the pond
All right.
before any
course.
cutting.
Well, we were trimming the trees, which is actually a
Well, some of them
Non-issue.
were the small trees, just big around, they were laid down on your property line. Right behind where you have the shed.
but when you came and we talked about the shed, you said you didn't have any problem. So you said someone had complained about us cutting branches on the trees and you didn't have any problem with that.
So if
You're
I,
only here because there was a complaint about the shed.
So I'll just,
And when you
Some-
came, we had
No,
rocks
we-
there.
we
and
some-
that wasn't the issue.
complained
Summary.
Because you were cutting trees.
summary is, we had a complaint. We took care of it with the association. We thought we had an agreement. We replanted trees.
Right, I-
Everyone was happy. Fast forward a year later, now people have another cross, they're
Because-
upset with something else. So I just think it's bad precedence to I just think you need to think carefully about how you respond to personal retaliatory complaints, because there are 33 other sheds that could do we could go around and is that how you want to spend your time? Because we're not alone in having a shed that close, and we will follow the rules next time. We will ask permissions. That's our bad, but this is not about our shed.
No, and there's 33 other sheds. We
Correct.
had nothing to do with.
Well,
Because that's.
you
all-
could,
And maybe the
Oh.
town needs to have a permitting process.
That
then. They
is-
say you don't need a permit, but then there's all these other things you have to do. So it's like,
Anything that's
maybe we
done
need
on
to
the
do a
other
permit.
properties over there, at Templeton Fish and Gun side.
Yep.
We have nothing to do with, they take care of it, and then they get permission to put the sheds up. I have no idea.
And there's
who they
nothing
are
on
to.
record. I looked at the public records, and the last time there was a variance on a shed was the property next to us in 2004. That was their first garage over there. And they've since placed another one on their property closer to the water. So they definitely didn't have. permission.
We know nothing about
right.
that.
So that's,
So
that's
then
what we're saying. We're
needs
not,
to do is
we're
like-
not
I signed off the
interested in
garage,
that.
that's all I have.
Right.
Right. But it's
So-
like, we're not not saying that just
No,
because
no, no,
other
no.
people do something wrong, we should be doing the same
Right.
thing. We're trying to, But again, we do feel like it's a retaliation from us having concerns,
About the
legitimate
dumpster.
environmental concerns about the dumpster they had there for 30 years. And each time I dig a small hole to plant something, I'm digging up, diapers, and I'm digging up a sole of a shoe the other day. And I said to people around in the neighborhood, did you know people were dumping trash here? And they said, oh yeah, we have pictures of people going in there dumping things. So they didn't have any conservation issues then, but now all of a sudden after the dumpster issue and they had to get it moved, now our shed is a problem.
so if I may interject, so we're here for the location of the shed and the potential change of the shoreline. Do you have any restoration suggestions that you would propose to the conservation commissions? If yes, would you do that? And if not, would you guys have any feedback for them? I think it's clear. We all know where we stand on the situation. What's if anything, an agreed
Oh.
upon resolution at this point. Do
Where
you
is
have
it?
any suggestions? Or would you like them to suggest something to you?
Where's the riprap is already in,
The riprap is already in.
it's steady, it's not gonna move anywhere.
No.
I don't see any problem with the riprap.
Okay.
Okay, it should not have been done without first contact.
It's not that,
You
what-
understand
it's not
that
that
now.
what you did was bad for the environment. It's that you just didn't do it without permission, and we're trying to we're trying right now to hold people all
Understood.
We
to the same standard.
understand that and we
Yeah.
apologize.
But if people are dumping stuff down there. with
Not
that-
anymore, but I think
Oh,
as
I know.
again,
I know, but I mean, that's the thing.
for many years. And so we're working to try to make it better and restore it to a natural and again, I'm pulling
The
trash
only
all
thing
the time.
the only thing I'm saying is, now they're moving the dumpster. It's up to the building inspector. If he wants you to move the shed, you will have to move the shed.
Sure.
Simple as that.
Yep.
And so the building commissioner would give you a determination letter that the shed doesn't meet the side setbacks. You would take said letter and apply to the zoning board of appeals if you so choose for a variance. Otherwise, you would just move the shed to 15 feet.
Yeah.
Is
to
the
meet the
shed
setback.
being there a problem for the conservation? I guess that's my question. One of the reasons that we placed it there too was to give some privacy and there, I mean, again, it's a really nice area
Well,
down there with a lot of birds.
Like I said, did the association okay it being there?
They did. We
and-
wouldn't have put it there
Well,
otherwise.
but once they okay it, then you should have. Quote.
Yeah.
Somebody should have come and said that to the building inspector.
I think there's a miscommunication or
Okay.
I apologize,
That's
Mr. Chair.
okay.
There's a lack of communication between when the association approves something and getting it to town hall. So when you talked about the permitting process, there should be a permit for it. There is within the Templeton Fish and Game Club or that whole area, Pinewood Shore, Shore Drive and all of that. We don't always see everything.
Right.
So when you're talking about all these sheds, we're not denying what you see, but sometimes we don't see about it until it's already there and now we have an issue.
Right.
So, no, we don't want to go see 33 sheds.
Right.
They don't,
want you
you know,
looking at
we
33
want everybody to
sheds.
follow the rules. Maybe
Right.
somebody at the Templeton Fishing Game said it was okay. And, you know,
Or again, our neighbors didn't know it was a problem, just like we didn't, and now here, you know, again, it's already there.
usually it's lack of education and not,
Right.
you know, intentional misuse of the pond. It seems like everybody that lives down there loves the pond.
Absolutely.
They're not
right.
trying to hurt the pond.
Right.
I get the impression you weren't trying to hurt the pond. We're trying to hold, at this point, that this board and this agent is trying to hold everybody to the same standards and keeping everybody accountable. And it's not that the riprap that you did was inappropriate. It just wasn't asked for.
Right.
And to change the shoreline, the Wetlands Protection Act says you need to file to do
Right.
so.
Okay.
Right, and we appreciated the
Understand.
site visit, Jessica. We thought we had a good conversation. I appreciated this. I felt like we kind of said like,
Well,
in the future, we know where we stand. We know that this is an important, we have an important duty living by the shore and we will make sure that we're rule followers by
Right,
nature
and we
anyway,
wanna
so.
Be there, we want to protect all the, you know,
Right,
nature and. all
right.
that.
Regarding the location of the shed, that's up to the two of you to have that conversation with them. That's not up to me. So
No, the shed, like I said, has to be taken care of through the building inspector. Because when he gave permission, I don't know, did you get a building permit from the building inspector?
We didn't
No, you
have to.
have to because it was below.
Okay.
the-
Within.
Oh,
the
and did
square
you tell him
footage.
how
Right.
close, where you were putting? Did you ever come out and look?
We measured and it's 15 foot off our marker, but I guess it has to be at a certain 15 feet from
the boundary
the
line.
boundary line instead of
Right,
the
right.
actual marker that we have
Right.
there. So again, we did the best we could. We didn't want to, we couldn't move it too far this way. That's too close to the lip of the lake and that's too, if you know, we couldn't put it too far that way. So.
Well,
Does
you know,
anybody in the audience have anything to contribute to the conversation? I just want to make sure that it's okay if you don't, just making sure that everybody's included. Very good. Mr. Andrews?
it's an issue all over town. People put stuff on their land and they don't come down and people don't check. Then they find out about it
Right, and
and
then
people
we're,
get upset about it.
right.
Yeah.
Well, believe me,
So at this point, what is your definitive action regarding the
definitive
shed?
action is we won't do anything with the rock because it's holding up everything the way it is. It's probably better for the land anyhow.
Since it's already settled, you don't want it ripped up to disturb.
We don't want to rip that up now because it's
Understood.
already in there.
Yep.
But the only thing is, the building inspector has to do what he wants to do, or they have to go to zoning board of appeal to get it, so they can keep it where it is.
You're okay where it sits
Okay with you?
wetland wise.
Yeah.
You're okay?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Understood?
Yes. Thank you both.
Okay.
Thank you.
Like I said, building inspector, I guess, will be down again.
Yep. Any other chair or member comments at this time? Dave, George, anything you need from me, gentlemen?
No, nothing I can see. Our next meeting will be September 18th,
At 6:30 PM.
6:30 PM.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to.
Do I have a second?
I will second
No discussion? Any discussion?
discussion.
All those in favor?
Meeting is over.